Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jim Longo. Thank you for joining us. We're going to be talking about online qualitative research today and some of the new technologies to help you engage, listen, and get meaningful feedback from your respondents and participants in online qualitative research. First, I'd like to talk about the type of customer that we're currently dealing with in today's marketplace. It's a new breed. Customers who want to be respected, are interested in being engaged, want a relevant two-way conversation, want to see what others have to say, and want to be a part of the innovation cycle. But most importantly, they want to see that their actions are taken, based on their input, and being part of the marketing process. Today's research in the current web versus traditional is that we see plenty of potential for qualitative research. The future of research in the community is very exciting. The problem with market research isn't necessarily on the front end of the business model, but I think the challenge for us is on the back end and really looking at the analysis that we're providing our customers, whether they be internal or external. And I think the research industry owns the fact that we have to do better, give better presentations, and give better insights. I think anyone who's been to a conference in the last few years has heard the discussions around the importance of giving a higher level of insight and actionable analysis and a more sparky delivery of the reports. I think some of the tools that we're now using in online qualitative research allow us to do that in a much more refined way. And while face-to-face is very strong and it's been very battle-proven and we're very comfortable and familiar with it, it's an exciting time to be a part of qualitative research. So quickly, just to, before we move forward, it's always good to look back and see where we've come from. And I think you'd be surprised of how long online qualitative research has been on the scene. And while it had a number of formative years, we're probably in its adolescence right now and moving into a time where we're going to see just an explosion of different types of technologies that can be used in online qualitative. It began in the mid-90s. Early discussion groups were held on email. Next on the scene came online chat groups and with a virtual backroom, and then the development of online bulletin boards, which allowed us to get deep emotion and rich data from in a qualitative setting. Currently, each year it's been growing, certainly since the advent of social media. In 2004, 2005, we saw the explosion of acceptance by buyers of research, and online qualitative has been growing at a very rapid pace. SMR, which includes communities as well as online focus groups and bulletin boards, roughly as an estimate of about $300 million is being spent on qualitative research. We're expecting about a 40% growth in online qualitative research this year. And again, I want to emphasize the fact that face-to-face groups are not going to be replaced with online qualitative. Both of them have a place in the research process, depending on the objectives of which you're setting out to do. So we're experiencing very rapid growth thanks to the globalization of brands, multi-country studies, emerging markets being explored for new opportunities, and again, the explosion of communication via computers and certainly in mobile research as well. So Qual is being used in a number of different ways, and this slide here gives you an example of some of the ways that online qualitative research is being conducted, not just to have focus groups, but has enabled us to really broaden the spectrum, do everything from in-depth interviews longitudinal research and diaries, posting blogs, home use tests or home placements. Ethnography certainly has exploded with online qualitative research, doing breakout groups or segmentation of groups within groups, not only as a precursor to quant research, but also on the back end to delve in deeper into how why segments are answering the way they are, helping problem solving, and something that's very unique is mixing segments. That is putting groups of people together who normally would not be together in a focus group and getting them to discuss on a more level playing field. And that is one of the advantages of online qualitative research, is that you tend to hear from everybody in the focus group, and you tend to get much more the depth of answers than you do in a face-to-face setting, simply because of social decorum and the ability for everyone to speak out what they're thinking and not having to wait to say something until someone else finishes saying. So there's some additional benefits actually in online qual. So my message today is that it's important that we all evolve. We don't want the industry to become extinct. This has already happened to the encyclopedias, if anyone remembers those from just a few years ago. Music industry has certainly had to evolve with technology. I think market research needs to do the same thing. Certainly, we're now on Wikipedia. Wikipedia has replaced the encyclopedia, and with that, we're able to update new methodologies and new techniques that are happening in our industry. And I think it's really critical that we understand that the moderator is the key to the success of online qualitative research. The research is only as good as the moderator who's executing that research, and it's important that at any time someone is doing online qualitative, that they're using someone who is familiar with the techniques, understands the difference between face-to-face and online, and especially text-based questioning, and how to create a flow, if you will, of conversation between the respondents and not just a Q&A session. Two of the most common are the online focus groups, which you've probably heard about. Those are synchronous in nature. Online focus groups were first come on the scene as text-based. And then the other would be video focus groups. Video focus groups are very good if you need to have some kind of presentation or you want to see a facial reaction as you're showing concepts or ads or ideas. But actually the richness of data has really come through much more so on the text base. The other one on the scene is the bulletin board focus groups. Those tend to happen asynchronous over a period of time. Most happen over a 3-day period. They allow a lot more richer discussion to take place. Those typically, with first day being the introduction, the second day being the objective, and the third day being the probing and clarifying of the objective. Typically, groups are running 3 days, but we see them running as many as a number of weeks and doing longitudinal studies. Screenshot here shows you a bulletin board in which you're able to show a whiteboard and show graphics, ads, anything that you would project onto a whiteboard in a focus group facility. Also, what we're starting to see now is the use of profiles within bulletin board groups, a la Facebook. This enables respondents to personalize a little bit more information. It also allows moderators the ability to use some of the information within people's profiles as projective techniques in the discussions. So this is, again, combining a little bit of social media along with qualitative research, which respondents are much more comfortable in today. We're also seeing the use of blogs or diaries in online qualitative research. This tends to give you a more journalistic view of what people are thinking about. It allows people to post their thoughts and feelings in a setting in which then other people can then come back and comment on those. Some of the techniques that we're using to create better engagement are card sorting exercises, building of collages online, using drag and drop techniques, using much more graphics as opposed to text to get people to become more involved in the research process. Again, trying to lend a little bit from the gaming world and making it more fun to do research. We're also seeing the use of video, in which we use a slider so people can slide a key to show whether they like or dislike something. We're seeing a number of marking tools that are taking place in online qualitative. Again, there are a number of products out here in which you can mark an ad as something that's positive or negative or neutral. Some of the differentiators that are out there are ones that allow you to do deeper analytics or back-end reporting. Some of the types of reports that can be done have been the use of heat maps, tree maps, video timeline analysis, and word analysis. This really brings out a richness in the data that people are now being able to tap into, and not just marking things as positive and negative, but also having a visualization of that for reporting. Clients are finding this very powerful. And leveraging the mobile explosion, right here, what I guess my point is that mobile is not going to save market research, but it certainly is going to aid us. And when I mentioned mobile, it's not just phones, it's also PC tablets and the like of iPad. The use of QR codes and also geo-based technology, I think, is going to become very much in the forefront in the coming months and year. We're just starting to tap into this. It allows us to have a focus group on the go, if you will, and able to be in real time in places where normally we could not have joined respondents, or it would have been very difficult to do so. So we're seeing this advancement allowing us to be part of the process and peek in, if you will, as people participate in life's exciting adventure and market research along for the ride. Certainly, no presentation in a conference today cannot go without mention of social media and social media monitoring. I think this is a very powerful tool for online qualitative research and qualitative research in general. Certainly, there's a debate out there of social media research and how it's going to fit into the marketplace. But today I'm really talking about monitoring and being able to use some of the tools that are available out there to understand as you're writing discussion guides, or if you're putting together a report and want to get, again, a more holistic view of how customers are talking about a brand, product, or service. There are a number of tools that allow you to do that and allow you to dig down and actually see what the actual comments that people are saying on blogs, on social media sites, and whatnot. And again, this we've been listening for a number of years, and these types of tools allow us to again, give a more holistic view of rather than just the 10 to 12 people that we have in a discussion group. So if anything, we can correlate the findings in a discussion group along with what's being said in social media monitoring, and this will allow us to give richer reports to our clients. I know we're going to talk later on. There's a number of presentations about MROCs or insight communities. I think online qualitative researchers are ideal for running these types of communities. It's, again, a more holistic way of doing research, including forums, blogs, online surveys, along with using some of the engagement tools that we talked about, bulletin board focus groups and online focus groups. So certainly qualitative researchers are fit to manage these types of communities, and we're seeing much more opportunity for independent research consultants to be a part of running insight communities or MROCs. Finally, in closing, I really want to sum up and say that marketing and marketing research are coming together. We're no longer really operating independently, seeing much more integration of both together and coming up with reports that actually meet some of the marketing objectives, again, and giving more insightful results and actionable results, which is really going to be where the future of marketing research is going. And it's hard to say where the future holds. There's certainly some product development being done, I know in Silicon Valley in the United States, looking at 3D for YouTube. Package design testing using 3D I think is going to be very powerful, and we're going to see that happening here in the very near future. So technology is continuing to push us forward, and I think we're only the best is yet to come. And there has even been some talk at conferences of someday going beyond 3D and actually doing hologram focus groups. And I can't wait for that day when I could sit and conduct a focus group and have virtual characters on my desk, and I could see them and conduct a group a la Star Wars. So again, the future is very bright for us, and technology is aiding us. We should not restrict ourselves to what is currently out there, but I challenge all of us to think of how we can use technology going forward to give better reports and more insight to our clients. Thank you very much, and I hope to answer your questions now.